Welcome, everybody, to Sports Shorts Daily, presented by LeBear's Casino. Ronnie Rance here with you on this Friday morning edition, alongside Tommy Chrysan, who's over at Tremonti's Meat and Seafood in Baton Rouge, where they got some little crawfish, corn, and potatoes. What, $4.99 a pound? Is that what that is? $14.99. I'm sorry.
$14.99 for the 3-pound lunch special.
TK down in the French Quarter last weekend. At the French Market restaurant on the corner of St. Philip and Decatur. It's a tourist trap. I want to say I think it was $12.99 a pound is what they were.
Well, hey,
I was like,
get
there's
what you
no
can, I
locals.
guess.
There's no locals eating at that restaurant, I can assure you.
Yeah.
$12.99 a pound, and there was no corn and potatoes included. So anyway, obviously it's a regional weekend. And listen, I want to apologize to all the LSU fans out there, college baseball fans in general in the state of Louisiana. Clearly, all this rain that's threatening today, it's all because of the Rougarou. Our season is starting. We're trying to work on the field. Our season starts on Tuesday. Gordon McKernan night, free tickets for everybody. Our opening day is Tuesday, June 3rd, 7 o'clock at Pete Goldsby Field. Gates open at 6. The whole reason that all this rain is coming is because the Rougarou have a home game coming up. And as you know, if you followed the Rougarou, and this is year 4 now that I've owned the team, it's a chance of rain every day, all the time, whenever the Rougarou play. Now we do have a tarp and we will work it, but see, the problem is the players they're in town. Like we'll have our first practice like tomorrow. So, we can't cover the field when we don't have the people here, and roll it up and all the things it takes. But, anyway, that's the whole reason, Tommy, that we have this threat of rain, potentially today and maybe this weekend is because of the Rougarou.
Yep, a lot of people will be searching the radar on their apps and on their phones and computers and everything. And that's right, Rougarou Tuesday night. A lot happening between now and then with you and your staff, and we're getting ready for lots of things. So brrougarou.com. Get the full schedule, season tickets, merchandise, and of course the home games Tuesday and Wednesday. Pete Goldsby Field. First pitch 7 o'clock. Gates open at 6.
So, with LSU baseball, the question is who's going to pitch today against Arkansas Little Rock, and Jay Johnson has yet to say who the starting pitcher is going to be, and won't say who the starting pitcher is going to be. He told the media, "Don't ask." He's not going to say anything. And so the speculation is out there, like who would it be? Would they possibly throw off? Would they throw an ace? I'll say this: LSU is LSU, Tennessee. Wait, hang on. LSU, Coastal Carolina, Oregon, and UCLA. That's 4 teams: Coastal Carolina, Oregon, UCLA, and LSU. 4 teams that have not announced a starter for tomorrow. Everybody else has announced a starter. Either they're throwing an ace or they're throwing off. Tennessee, Vanderbilt, North Carolina, and Oregon State are all throwing their aces. Tennessee, Vanderbilt, North Carolina, and Oregon State are all throwing their aces. The rest are throwing off. But the reason that Jay doesn't do it, and Bo, by the way, we do know it's not going to be Anderson. Saw him last night at Gino's Italian restaurant. Must be nice, huh, boy, when you can be in college, a sophomore in college, and take your date to Gino's Italian restaurant. Coach, I could only dream of going to Gino's when I was in college. That was like the once a year for your birthday when your parents sent the check. Hey, go have a nice meal. Here's $100. You know what I mean? Like, that happened once a year. The rest of the time, I'm at Broussard Hall. I mean, peanut butter and jelly, fried egg sandwiches, whatever at the house. These cats are rolling in the dough, taking the girl to the big baller restaurants. Unbelievable. But anyway, so Anderson says that he is not pitching. So that means that either Ianson is going to pitch or that they're going to throw off. I would anticipate that they're going to throw off. I hope they throw off. You should throw off. They had a terrible record. They finished 8th in the Ohio Valley, a losing record in conference play, all this stuff. They need to throw off because, again, as I pointed out on Wednesday, you have to get a win this weekend with your
Holstad's got to throw one game.
Yeah, you got to throw off and win with Johnny Holstaff one game. Might as well be Little Rock, uh, versus Rhode Island or Dallas Baptist, which you'd have to, if you win the first two, you play them on Sunday. So because of that, come on, to me, this is a no brainer. But here's why Jay does what he does. Nowadays, a lot of teams have the technology with these unbelievable computerized pitching machines to simulate exactly what you're going to see. This is the types of machines that LSU has, by the way. Let's say they know they're going to face Ronnie Rance, and they have all the data. They know where Ronnie Rance releases the ball. They know about the RPMs on the fastball. They understand about the angle of the breaking ball, the whole 9 yards. They can set that in the computer. They can set that pitching machine, Tommy, to simulate exactly what Ronnie Rance's fastball curveball change looks like. And now there's not an actual picture of me, although they have the VR goggles that they put on, and they actually use those that has a picture of Ronnie Rance throwing. But my point is that they can set all the speeds, all the breaking balls, all the everything to simulate exactly what they're going to face. And it's just like a football team. If not sure which quarterback's going to start, I got to prepare for two quarterbacks versus preparing for one. Same concept. I rather have to prepare for three or four pitchers versus one. And that is it in a nutshell. Because nowadays they have the technology to where if you announced on Tuesday that Ronnie Rance is going to pitch, then your opponent on Friday has 4 days of hitting in the cage against everything that Ronnie Rance does, exactly like Ronnie Rance does it, because the computer's going to have the rotation, the spin, everything. And that's why. That's it. And it makes sense to me. We don't like it as a fan. We don't like it as announcers. We don't like it. It makes makes it less fun to talk about all this speculation, which you don't like to speculate, you like to have the info. But that's why, Tommy.
Well, it makes a lot of sense, and that makes ERAs go up a little bit, and it makes it tougher to have a pitching staff that doesn't have a ERA above 5. Yeah, I mean, it's going to happen. So it's the modern technology of the game, and those who have embraced that are doing better with it than those that have decided not to get as far into it as some other people. It's all part of everything.
So game scheduled for 2 o'clock today. Obviously, there's a threat of rain at some point in the middle of the game. By the way, Tommy, even more reason to go with Joe's staff, because you don't want to get an Ianson or an Anderson hot. Let them go 3 innings, and then the rain comes, and then maybe you can't bring them back because the rain delays too long. So even more reason to want to throw 3 guys or something and piecemeal a game today. If LSU does win, they're set to play 5 o'clock tomorrow. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. 5 o'clock, but there's a 1 o'clock game, so you know how that goes. Everybody's used to that drill by now. So,
All
but I think it's either if Jay Johnson wants a lefty, I think it's going to be Connor Ware. If he wants a righty, I think it'll be Jaden Newt, depending on how that matches up with Little Rock. By the way, all the teams were ranked 1 through 64 that are in the tournament. Little Rock 64. So
there you go.
Johnny, there's your reason, if nothing else, to say Johnny Holstaff's got to get this. They've announced their pitcher. They're throwing a right-hander through a complete game last week in their tournament. They won 5 games in 4 days. So they're feeling good, but LSU's pretty good.
Yeah. How about that? The Little Rock out of Ohio Valley Conference is ahead of the SWAC, right? I mean, that's something. So look for the Rougarou. Will be out there on Saturday before the game. Our mascot, some of our interns, you'll see them walking around kind of near walk-ons and, kind of on the sidewalk and all that kind of area, interacting with the fans that are tailgating, taking pictures, handing out pocket schedules, even giving out free tickets. We'll be giving out some free tickets even out there. So look for Rue, as Rue will be walking around between 3 and 5 on Saturday.
Ronnie, I want to give a shout out. Speaking of baseball, nobody wins all their games, right? Oh. LSU Shreveport Pilots are 58-0, and they play for the national championship tonight against Southeastern, which is from down there in South Florida. They beat Southeastern on Wednesday, 58-0. They say nobody wins all their games. The Shreveport Pilots are trying to dispel that. Ronnie, when I saw that this win streak was at like 30, and then I read somewhere it was up to 36. I'm thinking, this is getting crazy. and now it's 58-0 with a game tonight to finish a season at 59-0. I don't care what league. I mean, just telling you, you play 59 games and win them all. That's mind-boggling.
That's a pretty cool accomplishment, TK. The what the pilots are about to pull off in the NAIA World Series, by the way. And that's pretty cool for the state of Louisiana because, even if they don't, if by some miracle they lose on Friday, and look, Southeastern's had to go through out of Florida, has had to go through the losers bracket. They're out of pitching. So I think they're going to pull off the 59-0. But even if they don't, they still can win the national championship because they got to get beat twice. So, but that's a great thing for the state of Louisiana, man. When you think of college baseball in Louisiana, think of LSU, and now in the NAIA world, you're going to think of LSU Shreveport, the greatest team ever in the history of the NAIA. LSU, arguably the greatest program in the history of Division I baseball. And then LSU Eunice is making a bid, at least at the Division II level. There's no doubt about it. The greatest JUCO in the history of Division II Junior College World Series. Now, this year they played Division I World Series, which is the bigger boys. It's the difference between 5A baseball and 3A baseball, right? But so Division I they played in. That's the division that Delgado and BRCC are in, and Nunez Community College. And it's based on your attendance. But they played up in that division because they had some issues with their district and where they were going to get sent. The word on the street is that they're going to go back to Division II. Now they won their conference. They didn't make it to the World Series in Grand Junction. They lost in the regionals. And I would love to see LSU Eunice stay in the Division I level because I think, listen, man, do you want to just? Do we want to? The Division II is a big difference between the Division II and Division I. It's easier. Division II is easy. They can go win a national championship every other year probably in the Division II World Series. But that's what and all their guys at LSU Eunice. If you're a starter at LSU Eunice and you don't hit 350 or better, you need to check yourself. You know what I mean? Like you're not a good enough hitter because everybody's got an ERA under 3. Everybody's got a 350 batting average, and it doesn't mean you're a great player. It just means that you play too many weak teams, basically. And look, I think the world of Willis and their program, and they do a great job. And I love the fact that they get up at 5 in the morning and they work out and they go to Bible study and all the things that they do. And players get better when they go to Eunice, and their facilities are amazing and all that. But come on, play Division I. Play the big boys. But people want to see you play Delgado and Baton Rouge Community College. It's tired and it's past due that you. So I hope something changes and LSU Eunice stays in the Division I JUCO because that's great. You got 4 teams. You got Nunez, you got BRCC, you got Delgado and LSU. But word on the street is that this was a 1-year Band-Aid and that they're going back to Division II.
Well, the analogy is John Curtis football 15, 20 years ago. Everybody said, man, you really got to play with the big boys. Well, they probably played with the big boys, and they still got great success, but not maybe the same amount of success. So there's the analogy. But hey, look, Louisiana's always been a football state, always will be, but baseball is huge in Louisiana, huge from the professional level on down. I mean, it's a big thing.
All right, TK, what else we got?
Well, we got we kind of hit it all right there. Rougarou game coming up Tuesday and Wednesday at Pete Goldsby Field, and of course Sports Shorts Radio tomorrow. We'll be at Leola's Cafe and Coffee House on Government Street in Baton Rouge, airing in Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and Lake Charles on ESPN Radio, 10 a.m. to 12 noon. Hunter McCann, myself, Ronnie, Joel Davis, who knows who else. I want you to check that out.
Fantastic. By the way, Leola's is open for breakfast and lunch and all during the week, but it's not just a brunch place on the weekend. And it's a great lunch. So it's right there on Government Street, right next to Circa 1866, right? In the back of it, kind of cool spot, great food. Like I was stunned, had never been before we did our show there a couple months ago. Awesome location. Go check it out. Leola's. Don't wait for us on Saturdays. Go do that. Go lunch today. They have awesome breakfast and lunch 7 days a week over there. All right, Tommy. We'll be back tomorrow morning. Sports Shorts Radio in Lafayette, Lake Charles, and Baton Rouge on ESPN Radio, and then of course Monday. What time Monday are we going to be doing Sports Shorts Daily?
It's probably going to be about 2 o'clock or 2:30. We'll announce it all through social media and hopefully announce it on the radio tomorrow.
All right, sounds good. For Tommy Christ saying I'm Ronnie Rance. TK, tell us about Tremonti's as we get out of here with that great $4.99 crawfish special.
Lunch special today. You get the crawfish, the corn, the potatoes, $14.99. You can get it here at Tremonti's today. Everything you need for the weekend: the meat, the seafood, the wine, the whiskey, the vodka. Everything you need is at Tremonti's Meat and Seafood on Jefferson Highway. Plenty of crawfish still available. Not going to be much longer, but you got boiled and live crawfish available. Don't forget, as always, we are presented by LeBear's Casino and Hotel in Baton Rouge. On behalf of Ronnie Rance and Mike and everybody here at Tremonti's, don't forget you can get Tremonti's world famous hamburgers at Rougarou games, and the Tremonti makes Rougarou sausage. All of that, we'll tell you about that again next week. On behalf of everybody, have a wonderful weekend, and we will talk to you on the radio tomorrow. Sports Shores Daily, Monday afternoon.